Was he the victim of backstabbing, Mr. Nuttall?
Oh, well, look.
Take it if you wish to.
Who hasn't been in this office?
Good answer. Right, let's have another quick question here, and this has to be done quickly. It's to do with economics. Are you a Keynesian? Are you a Keynesian? John Maynard Keynes, Aidan Palliser. No.
That's correct, I'm not a Keynesian.
Good.
And the Conservative Party thinks that borrowing £50 billion more than the 1,900 billion we already owe is good, and the Labour Party wants to borrow 3 or 4 or 5 times as much. And actually, although I don't like to follow the principle of all publicity is good publicity, Peter does agree with the Conservatives that we've had too much austerity. But actually, when we have £1,900 billion worth of debt, borrowing more is rather like finding a drunk on your doorstep in front of your house in the morning and offering him a bottle of whiskey as a pick-me-up. And I'm afraid that's how I would characterise Keynes's economic thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to pick up?
No, I'm not a Keynesian, I'm more akin to Hayek. And Keynesianism is debt and spend, debt and spend, debt and spend. That's what we've been doing, I think, the longest period of having a national deficit in the country's history over the last 30 years. There's only been 1 year where the country hasn't borrowed money and got into more debt. And it's disastrous because what it leads to is inflation, whether you see it or not, whether it happens quickly or whether it happens slowly. And this is part of the problem where we're seeing house prices go up. Yes, partly to do with immigration, but it's also partly to do with quantitative easing because the people that get the money first have more money to spend, and that blows up an asset bubble. We've got to get the country back into balanced budget. I would be fiscally and I would be socially conservative, and I think there's a great space opening up in politics for UKIP to get into on that sphere. If we're the party that can be the one that's looking after the economy, being responsible with our money, not spending money on HS2, on overseas development, on wind farms and so on. We already say all these things. We just need to bang that message louder and say we're going to spend it at home and we're going to spend it on reducing our deficit.
I really want to comment on that.
Now, of those who are short answers, Marion and Marie. Marion.
Well, I don't believe in spending and debt. What I'd like to see is foreign aid budget done away with. That would make a bit of difference. I'd like to see foreign prisoners deported back to their country of origin.
Not standard John Maynard Keynes stuff.
No, but what I'd like to bring aspects of where we are wasting money at the moment.
So what economists don't want waste.
Right, okay, well I won't continue on that one then.
I've hanged on it.
I just want everyone diverts off and brings other things.
I know, and I catch some of them, but not all. I catch the stragglers, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In the answer to the question, no. But there is no political label that ever really fits. Every single economic theory has upsides and downsides. And the idea, I support the free market, but the idea that there should never be any government intervention, I think is a mistake. We had it after World War II, for example. We had it after the Great Depression, Keynesian economics. So there's no label I would put on it, but you have to realise that circumstances change, and to completely rule out any government intervention is a mistake, but overall, absolutely not.
Right, very quick one, and it's for Henry Bolton. Hello. If you could turn the clock back, would you have questioned the decision of the NEC to leave Anne-Marie Waters on the ballot?
Yes, because I think it is absolutely necessary to bring the NEC or any governing body to account if it is believed, and there is legal advice to this effect, that that body has not complied with the rules and procedures governing, in this case, the election procedure.
Freedom of speech.
Would it be said, Henry, that the rule book's in a mess, though?
The rule book is in a mess. And if I may give you a typical example on why this needs to be called out. The rules actually say that all candidates have to be members of good standing for 2 years from 23rd of June 2017. So none of us qualify. There is a big issue with the quality of the drafting of the rules of procedure, and there is a big issue as to whether or not the NEC always applies them, how it's done, and whether or not the NEC actually is incorporating the full body in that process.
Thank you, Henry. Fairness indicates Anne-Marie should have a brief intervention.
Very briefly. If none of us qualify, why was the only one that was questioned? Why was the NEC questioned only about me?
Because the legal advice was that it was actually clear in its meaning, but it was badly drafted.
Thank you, Henry. Now, since we've not said we're going to do it, so let's do it. Let's have 30 seconds, each candidate, wrap up any order you want. And I will make sure that each of you have only one go, so don't try and put a fast one. 30 seconds, wrap up. Why should they vote for you? Who first? Aidan Powlesland first.
Okay, you shouldn't vote for John Rhys Evans because revolution, for revolution's sake, is not a good idea. You shouldn't vote for Peter Whittle or David Curtin or Jane Collins because they are going to carry on ahead. I haven't heard of a real change that is going to rescue us from the extremely disastrous general election result we just had. I think you should vote for one of the other candidates who will offer a real change in how we project ourselves to the public.
Thank you, Aidan. Who next wants to take it? All of you will get a chance. Who next? Jane Collins. Why would we vote for you?
Because I want to see UKIP survive. I've not been in any political party. I do not have a personal agenda. My agenda is for UKIP to go forward, go back to being the party of the people, and we will get our votes back again. The Labour Party and the Conservatives are now selling us down the river. We've got a chance to deliver what 17.4 million people voted for with Brexit. That really is our job, and when we've done that, we will continue and we will get the voters back in droves. And it's going to be a long, hard fight. But I'm up for that fight because I genuinely think that UKIP will survive this if you vote for the right person.
Thank
if you
you,
get the
Jane.
wrong person, it won't.
Thank you, Jane. Who next? Marion Mason. They're all getting 45 now.
Okay, well, there's no I in team. I know that's one of the things that people threw out, but that's exactly what it comes down to. It comes down to the team. The leader, yes, the leader has to be attractive to yourselves, but the leader also has to be attractive to the British public really as well. So that's where we need to go for with the leader and the team that goes with the leader. And I want to see us moving forward with better communication within UKIP. Unfortunately, that's failed a lot in the past. I want to see policy formation with grassroots. I have tried to get it forward in the NEC once or twice, have I not, Elizabeth? But there you go. I want a policy formation that will have grassroots input constantly, ongoing, not just last minute.
Thank you, Marion. Who's next?
I'll go next, yeah. I came into UKIP in 2012 because I was concerned about TTIP, a big trade deal between the EU and the USA. UKIP and Trump have together killed that because we won Brexit. And we've got to continue fighting for Brexit, and I will. I also came into UKIP because I was concerned about political correctness and cultural Marxism, which I've spoken about today. Whether we come out of the European or not, and we will because we're still here, there are enough people in this country who want to destroy this country from within. And they're in the police service, they're in the government, they're in the institutions, particularly education. And I know a lot about education because I've been a teacher for 20 years. So I'm very well qualified to talk about it, and I know where the issues are. Because this country has been a light to the world for centuries. And I wanted to continue to be a light to the world. And you need a leader who knows where the problems are and can deal with it and talk about it
And
lead this party, and
perfectly
I will
as you
do that. Thank you, Freddie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not yet out of the European Union. We don't have control of our borders, we cannot agree our own trade agreements, and our parliament and our laws are still subordinate to a foreign power. The Conservatives have no idea how to get us out. The Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats clearly will not get us out. Only our party, only your party, only the United Kingdom Independence Party will get us out of the European Union. Now, we must make this party a dominant influence in British politics to do that. We must dominate in order to get out of the European Union and once again take up our rightful place in the world, globally, and we must and to deliver prosperity, security and optimism for the British people. Ladies and gentlemen, I joined this to contribute my skills and experience to that effort, and whoever does this is going to have those as the challenges to accomplish. Thank you.
And Marie Waters.
Politicians will always promise you change. But they really mean change so much as it's the same. It is a game. Politics is a game, and it's been treated like a game. We must really, when I say I want to change things, I really, really mean it. No more of this politicians working for politicians. You know, we've heard again tonight what the public want. What is that? Except unless you disagree or unless you don't like what the public want, then you disregard the public? No. We have to listen to the public, all of it, and hear what they are saying. This arrogance from politicians that they know best is being manifested again in UKIP at the moment. We have got to stop this. No more rhetoric, no more empty political nonsense. We have to really start listening to the public and respond, even if we as politicians find it uncomfortable.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Who's next? Bill Etheridge and John Rhys-Evans, David Coburn. Both are answering, but they'll only get 45 seconds.
Respect personality.
Welcome, John Rhys-Evans. This is the time for energy, enthusiasm, dynamism, a new energy, and real and radical change. We're in a spot. We don't have time for more of the same. We don't have time for a pound shop John Major. We don't have time for someone who's just reared their face and appeared out of the blue. What the time is now is for people to get behind a man who can change this party. We are the people's army. We are the people's army. We are the ones who can make a change. John Rhys-Evans will bring the power to the people, and he has the people around him to support him. He's a strong team. We'll work together, and we will represent you all with pride, and I hope we'll have a fantastic team together. Vote for John Rhys-Evans.
Thank you, Bill. Who's next? Just in case you've forgotten, it's David Coburn, Peter Whittle, and Ben Walker. Now, I think we've got a game going on, so somebody wants to be last. Peter Whittle.
I'll start
Good
this
one.
morning. I've been in the party 5 years. As deputy leader, as you know, still am, I think, officially. But what it really means is that I therefore know pretty much how the party works and what is wrong with it. And that is crucial, right? What I would say to you is that we have got to basically secure Brexit and secure our democracy. But we have got to go one on from that. We have got to be the party of Britain as a nation state. We have got to be the party of real patriotism, of British identity, confidence in it. We are the only party that will do it. The Tories are just interested in money, Labour are undisguised in their hatred. That leaves a huge gap. I believe that I can inspire this party, and I believe that if you give me the chance, you will come with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. I would ask for Ben, because David's been itching so much. Let him itch a little bit more. Ben.
Oh, happy to do it. Quite straightforward, really, right? What Peter's just said, and I'm not having a go at Peter, but I know how the party works. That's the problem. This is our problem. What we need to move forward now is real, tangible change, and not the stuff. And I agree with Anne-Marie, not the stuff that people use as sound bites. Real change. That's what I'm offering. If you want somebody to front this party and actually be the patriotic, working class party that we should be, speaking out for the people that think they are unrepresented, that's me. If you want to return back to our successes in 2015 and build from them, that is me. So please vote for me, vote for change, and actually vote for some tangible, real change that's going to work, and actually somebody who can resonate with the electorate.
Thank you, Ben. And the only one so far who kept within his time. Which now leaves, I think we've been through. Everyone's done, isn't it? Right, pretty much everyone's done now, Ben. No, David Coburn!
Well, it was going to be 80-20 for Remain in Scotland. And we managed to get it down to 60-40. And I was permanently on TV and radio, printed media, taking on the big beasts of Scotland, and they are big beasts. Ruth Davidson, Sturgeon, Alex Salmon, one of the biggest beasts I know. I'm the fourth best known politician in Scotland according to the press. I do everything Nigel did as leader. I've got my own press corps I have to deal with. BBC, Scotland, Scottish television, Scottish Sun, the Scottish Mail, the Scottish Telegraph. Basically, I've been doing the job as leader for 4 years. And quite frankly, we need a tried and tested leader. I also have raised money and I know how to do it. And we funded our own party because I know how to do that. And let me say that Nigel's war cry was, "We want our country back." My war cry is, "We want our party back."
Peter just said, "Oh, come on, David. Oh, come on." Thank you, everyone.